Welcome to Lace 'em Up Media. And in this edition of the History of Political Parties, we'll be going over the rise and fall of the Union Party. By the 1930s, America was gripped by uncertainty due to the stock market crash of 1929 leading to bank failures and before long biting poverty. As mass unemployment reached around 25% and many lower to middle-class families began living in shanty towns, this period in time is often referred to as the Great Depression. Herbert Hoover, a businessman, humanitarian and by this point the incumbent Republican president, was struggling with how to deal with the worst aspects of the Depression. His efforts, which included raising taxes and creating work programs, were unsuccessful, and the fallout of the Bonus Army incident left him and the GOP vulnerable heading into the 1932 presidential election. Hoover's opponent in the election was Franklin D. Roosevelt, a longtime Democrat who was not only the governor of New York but also a member of the wealthy Roosevelt family. Long story short, Roosevelt, or FDR for short, easily won, and upon being sworn into office he began dealing with the Great Depression by using the federal government to intervene more than any other president before him. While his New Deal policies helped in course-correcting the mistakes made by his predecessors, many far-left Democrats within his party felt that FDR wasn't going far enough. As such, many of them decided to look for someone dynamic and populist enough to challenge the incumbent. Enter Huey P. Long, a former governor turned senator of Louisiana, also known as the Kingfish. Long was an unabashed populist who leaned more to the left than most in public office. Long's record in fighting for the impoverished and standing up to the business community in Louisiana made him the type of person you'd think would be a loyal ally to Roosevelt. And for a time they certainly were. But by the first half of Roosevelt's time in office, the Kingfish and his supporters began to see FDR and his New Deal policies as lackluster, even going so far as to oppose things like Social Security, the National Recovery Act and the Glass-Steagall Act, all of which he felt favored the corporate interest and not regular people. In February of 1934, Long created a group that supported his policies like non-interventionism, free education, creating a pension plan for people 65 and older, better benefits for World War I veterans, federal aid to farmers, taxing the rich and wealth redistribution to the poor. Known as Share Our Wealth, this movement attracted millions, including politician and clergyman Gerald L.K. Smith, medical physician Francis Townsend, not to mention radio personality and Roman Catholic priest Father Charles Coughlin. Coughlin, who had also supported FDR in 1932, began preaching to the masses about his dislike of Roosevelt, claiming he was a tool of Wall Street while also spreading anti-Semitic rhetoric, something Coughlin became infamous for throughout his life. Leading up to the 1936 election, Long and his group of supporters were planning to take their movement to the next level and begin a political party to challenge Roosevelt. A massive blow soon affected the movement when on September 9, 1935, Huey Long was killed in an assassination attempt, leaving the coalition he created almost entirely aimless. Some believe that Long's plan for the 1936 election was to challenge FDR for the nomination only to lose, but use the national attention he would have garnered to create a third party that would take on Roosevelt from the left, which would break up the New Deal coalition, thus ensuring a GOP victory come Election Day. In fact, many polls between 1934 to 1935 believed if Long ran as a third-party candidate, he would probably get around 6 to 7 million votes and roughly 15% of the popular vote. After a 4-year period in which the Republicans once again destroyed the economy, Long would run for president in 1940 and reclaim the White House for the Democrats. But with the passing of the group's populist figurehead, some wondered if the movement would be able to continue. Despite this, Coughlin, Smith and Townsend, along with the remaining supporters of the Kingfish, decided to press on and create a new political party called the Union Party. Problems soon began to engulf the party due to a clash of egos involving its three main players. And then there was the anti-Semitism by both Smith and Coughlin, which was something Huey Long was against, by the way. And finally, the group struggled to find someone who could excite the party but also garner major attention by the media and the general public. Some names were considered to represent the Union Party, like Burton Wheeler, who was Robert La Follette's running mate in 1924, William Borah, who lost the GOP nomination to Alf Landon, and Minnesota Governor Floyd B. Olson, who was unable to run due to his bout with stomach cancer, and the other two lost interest after Long's death. In the end, the Union Party nominated William Lemke, who was a U.S. representative from North Dakota, with his running mate being a lawyer by the name of Thomas O'Brien. Ultimately, Lemke lacked the charisma and charm of Huey Long and therefore stood very little chance of being seen as a serious threat in this election. They also ran former Farmer Labor Party candidate Jacob Coxey as their nominee for Ohio's 16th congressional district. Neither candidate came out on top, with Coxey coming in fourth place and getting 1.6% of the vote. William Lemke, for his part, came in third place with no electoral votes and just 2% of the popular vote. With such dismal results at the ballot box and massive infighting with the group, the Union Party came to an end following the 1936 election. Townsend would disappear from politics and live a quiet life before passing away in 1960 at age 93. Gerald Smith would join various political groups whilst continuing his plunge into far-right ideology before he passed away in 1976 at the age of 78 due to pneumonia. William Lemke would continue to serve in public office when he died from a heart attack at age 71 in May of 1950. Speaking of heart-related causes of death, O'Brien would pass away in November of 1951 at the age of 64. Much like Smith, Father Coughlin's descent into far-right anti-Semitic policies would intensify in the lead-up to World War II. Before his radio and publishing duties ended in the 1940s, Leslie faced prosecution from the federal government. He would return to his work as a pastor until retiring in 1966. He died on October of 1979 aged 88, with neither Coughlin or Smith recanting their abhorrent views prior to their passing. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for new videos every day. Follow us on Bluesky Social and X for updates, and check out our website for articles on all things wrestling, film, and politics.